friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So we will continue our discussion on the line of Saturn. So a quick recap of all what we have studied so far. So what does the line marked on the palm represent? How these line gets formed? So there can be three reasons for that. First remains to be like the way it has been believed in spirituality that the soul carry the account of the past life deeds. Second remains to be the fetal environment, the environment which a mother gets at the time of the conception. And third remains to be the genetics, the kind of traits which a child inherits from his parents and from its ancestors. So now coming to the second point, like how any line on the palm gets scrutinized, gets judged. So there can be four principles for that. First remains to be from where the line is originating. Second is where that line is terminating. Third is the presence of any special signs or symbols. And last, any branches or forks from that line. So that remains to be the judgment criteria of any line. Now coming to the line in consideration, the line of Saturn. So like the way I have explained it in the past video, that line of Saturn is also known as line of Saturn, line of fate, wealth line, destiny line, line of security. So what all are the chief traits associated with this line, the archetype qualities which can be associated with this line. So this line tells about your work environment, your time of promotion, your finances, the condition of your finances, whether you are in a bright state of finances or you are facing dullness and you're facing kind of dearth in your financial conditions, your time of promotion, your time of buying a home, buying a car, the sense of purpose, how you use your talents, your conduct in the society, your ability to control your life and the circumstances, all that gets determined by the fate line. So this is what our fate line is on our palm. So any line going towards the mount of Saturn is known as the fate line. So this line is not can be fixed to that. This line would originate from wrist only. This line can originate from anywhere on the palm. This line can originate from the mount of the outer mass. This portion which tells about your mental strength. This line can also originate from the headline, from the from the lifeline, from the heart line, from the mount of the moon. So this line can originate from anywhere, and there can be as many as 3-4 line of Saturns present on your palm. So we have discussed all of that this line is very important. Any major event of your life gets checked on the lifeline and the fate line. So the heart line tells about your emotions, the headline tells about your logic, your mentality, the lifeline tells about your health, the quality of the life. But this fate line is so important that this line tells about the majority of the events of your life. So the time when you are very secured, when all your endeavors are there is very high possibility that all your put forth efforts, your endeavors will meet success. That will get determined from the fate line. The times when you are most vulnerable, that also get seen from the line of Saturn. So many times people argue on this that this kind of line, if this line is associated with someone's wealth prospects, someone's material prospects, so how can this line be found in the hands of beggars as well? So the only rational explanation to this logic is that whenever we do the analysis in palmistry, it is always done in conjunction. A comprehensive analysis is done, like the way it happens in astrology. The placement of one planet in one house never tells the whole picture. You need to look at it, which nakshatra the planet is sitting, which all other planets are respecting at it. So same is the case with the palmistry. So no matter a beggar who has a long line of Saturn or fate line, but along with that, you also need to check the condition of the fingers, whether the fingers are unevenly shaped, whether they are unevenly set or they are evenly set on the palm, whether they are very distorted, very crooked or straight, and most importantly, the condition of the mounts, specifically these upper mounts, the mount of Jupiter, mount of Saturn, mount of Apollo, and the mount of Mercury. So any kind of analysis is done in conjunction with other signs present in the hand as well. And lastly, you might also come across those people who give you this this kind of theory and logic that the fate is everything. They will try to associate this line of Saturn with fate and destiny. So the only rational explanation for this logic also can be given as that when it comes to destiny versus free will, the destiny will do its role by adapting the circumstances, by inducing a thought in particular direction, but whether to act on that or not would always remain in the domain of free will. That is the only reason that palmistry explains that we create our own fate. We create our own destiny just because by the change in our attitude and lifestyle and thinking process, these lines remain subjected to change. So we have discussed all of that in past video. In this video we are going to discuss the quality of the line. So studying the quality of line is very important because the quality of the line tells about the true character of the line. So just only because if a line is in its best immaculate state, then only it would be able to allow the flow of the smooth flow of the energy from it. So the first case is when you will find the line of Saturn. So let's say any, like the way I have explained, any line going towards the middle finger, the mount of the Saturn, will be known as the line of Saturn or fate line. So what will happen when you will find the line of Saturn to be deep and clear? So something like this. So this is the best formation for any line to have. If you will find the any particular line in consideration to be deep and clear, then this would just allow the best signification, best flow of the energy from that particular state of the line. So a deep and clear line would indicate that the subjectively this would mean that the person would feel secure, because like the way I've been telling you, line of Saturn also tells about security, because this line is chiefly associated with the planet Saturn, which tells about which represents wisdom, prudence, hard work, so and security as well. So if you'll find the line to be deep and clear, so this would indicate that the person would feel very contented whichever position he is in the life. So he would feel and he would have this feeling that yes, I'm in a right place in this world, I'm surrounding with right set of people, I'm very much contented with the whatsoever money I'm making. So that remains to be the one condition. Second remains to be the state wheresoever, because whenever it comes to checking the lines, first is we check the line as a whole, then we judge the line in smaller intervals, because that is the only way the analysis and prediction is done, because we age these lines. So whenever you do small intervals and wheresoever you will finding the line to be deep and clear, the line of Saturn or fate line, this would just indicate that this person would feel contented. The chances of meeting success for all of his endeavors would also remain to be high. And security, like the way I've been repeatedly saying, security is a very subjective term. There might be those people who are very wealthy, who are very rich, but still they are not contented with their finances, and there might be those people who are living in very humble circumstances, but still they are very happy and very satisfied with the kind of money which they are making. So it's a very relative term, but in short, a deep and clear line would represent someone feeling secure, and this would also remain to be the time of opportunity when this person can expect very good results from all of his endeavors. So at this particular time, wheresoever you have spotted by aging the line, so let's say someone who is like 35-year-old, and that person has come to you, and you can see at the 35 years of age, line to be in a deep and clear state. So you can just advise this person to double his efforts, because the chances of meeting success for all of his efforts would remain to be very high. And it also comes down to the archetype as well. So let's say someone who would be very typical Saturnian archetype, and Saturn archetype represent hard work, wisdom. So that person would make use, no matter how much how much piece of advices you are giving to a person. It also comes down to the archetype personality of an individual as well, because that is the only way via which that person would perceive the advice and perceive the information given to him. So a Saturnian archetype who has come to you, you have advised to him that okay, this is the best time you are running through and you should work hard. So he would definitely work hard. But let's say someone who would be Apollonian archetype, who is too much into fame, recognition, expenses, shopping. So that person might earn good money, but equally he would spend and all that saved and earned money as well. So it also comes down to the archetype as well. Next is when it comes to a long and deep and clear fate line of Saturn. So it doesn't mean that this person would in his journey of life, this person would remain very immune to all the troubles and all the ups and downs. The only difference would remain to be that this person would remain very undaunted from all the failures or from all the vicissitudes and all the hardship of the life. This person throughout his life would feel secure. He would feel that he is born in this world with a proper sense of purpose, a goal to achieve. He would feel the blessing of God or the blessing of the angels in his life. So this is how a long, deep and clear line of Saturn can be decoded as, because along with your wealth and material prospect, this line also tells chiefly about your security as well. And next thing is, majority of the times you will find the line of Saturn to be very deep and clear early in the life, because when it comes to aging the lines, like the way I have explained it in my past video, the headline and lifeline starts from here. So if you want to check the infant age or childhood of someone on the headline on lifeline, so we'll begin from here, and the old age on the lifeline and headline would be seen over here and here. But when it comes to fate line originates from here and it terminates on here. So let's say in the cases of all those people who have a deep and clear fate line at the origin, so those would remain to be the cases when at the early youth, this person would remain to be dependent on the family. He would not face any problem related to his finances, and even all those people who get the fame in early childhood and the stardom which they get in the early youth. But let's say if the line is going very diminished and the line is getting distorted going up towards the middle finger, so then that would remain to be the case when might be the circumstances would force this person to get out of his home, where he has to handle his life individually. And that might be the case with that person who has already attained stardom and kind of fame in early youth, or early youth might get lost in the world and would not get recognized like the way he has got recognized during the time of the early youth. So this is how the quality of the line of Saturn in different phases can be scrutinized. And lastly, the most important part is when you'll find the line of Saturn or line of fate to be ending on the mount of the Saturn. So why I'm saying this thing is because there remains to be different case. Complete line of Saturn would indicate sense of security, good wealth prospects, good material prospect. But at the same time, when this line has reached the mount of Saturn, then it gets judged on two ways. One is the overall quality of the line of Saturn, and second is the presence of any line on the mount of Saturn. So a deep and clear or single deep and clear line of Saturn on the mount of Saturn would represent very good old age, security in old age. Why I'm saying that this is because, as you people know, that Saturn represents maturity. A typical Saturnian person might be those cases who has been forced to take responsibility early in age. So Saturnian people remain to be very late bloomers in their life. So but when you will find a single deep line on the mount of Saturn, that might be some other line, or that might be the line of Saturn rising from the wrist or anywhere on the palm and reaching on the mount of the Saturn. So this would indicate a very secure old age. So this is how a deep and clear line of Saturn gets scrutinized and judged. Next in the series of judging the quality of the line is the thin and clear line. So any point of time you will find the line of Saturn to be thin and clear. So this would just indicate thin and clear line of Saturn is still positive. The only problem comes when this thin line gets defective because of the affliction posed by different defects or different negative signs. So then this remain to be a sign of worry. Otherwise, a thin and clear line is in any case not as good as the deep and clear line. It would indicate that someone has to put more efforts. Otherwise, this guy would face obstacle. But as long as this line has not been afflicted by negative signs like mole, dot or grill or X bar, cross bar, till the time this line is considered as still positive. However, just because this line is thin and we are correlating the lines with the electric wires, so this line has reduced capacity to allow the smooth flow of the life energy. So a thin and clear line of Saturn would indicate more efforts from an individual. Next in the series is broad and shallow. So something like this. So broad and shallow lines are not considered as good because the line is required more to be deep. A broad and shallow line represents that it is not, the channel doesn't have the capacity to allow the smooth flow of the current. The current is just spilling out. Same is the case with the river bed, that the river doesn't have that capacity, the river bed doesn't have the capacity to allow the smooth flow of the excess of the water, and what is happening is the flow of the water is just spilling out from the medium. So that this is the same case with the broad and shallow line of Saturn. More advisable is to have no line of Saturn compared to a broad and shallow line of Saturn. So this would just indicate lifetime of continual struggles and perceived as sign of obstacles. And it's like the way I've been saying, it's better to have no line of Saturn than as compared to the broad and shallow line of Saturn. Those might to be the remain to be the years. So let's say someone whose line has started with broad and shallow, so then you can say whose line has started broad and shallow, this would just indicate that this person in his early youth or early childhood would face too much of trauma, illnesses, or too much of struggle. So this doesn't indicate happy childhood. But once the line after moving ahead would become deep and clear, so this would just indicate that the person has improved his conditions by his own efforts. So this is how broad and shallow line gets decoded. It is not considered as good, it just represents struggle. Next in the series is the chained line. Chained line is same like formation of the line of Saturn is in any case not considered as good. This is the worst kind of formation. This is the formation which just tells about continuous struggle and too much of disappointment, because a chain line is get formed by the presence of islands, one island after another. So this would just indicate the same thing, that the person would remain very vulnerable towards many disappointments and kind of obstacles one after another. So this person, seriously, this remains to be the time when this person would keep on changing jobs, on facing too much of disappointment. So if the whole line is formed like this, then this person seriously need to take refuge in worship, recitation of proper mantras and doing meditation in order to get remove the affliction posed by this defective line of Saturn. Otherwise, if just a portion of the line of Saturn is chained, so that period would remain to be a time of affliction when this person needs to put proper care towards his actions, whatever he is doing in his life. So this is with the chained formation of the line of Saturn. Next in the series is when you will find the line of Saturn to be uneven. So what do I mean by that? So an uneven line of Saturn means that the line is varying its character, line is changing its character during its course on the palm. So an uneven line could be like this, broad and shallow at the origin, then getting to deep and clear, then getting chained, then again getting deep and clear. So this is something which I mean by uneven line. So uneven line represents period of struggle as well as success, because you can see like the way you can see on here on this palm. So this line started with very broad and shallow formation. So this indicated kind of unhappy childhood. Then during the time of let's say around 21 years of age, this line improves. So we can just say that this remains to be the time of success when this person has put proper efforts and the chances of meeting success at this point of time remains high. Then again this line got chained. So this again remains to be the time of obstacles when this person has to completely rely on his own efforts rather than expecting some outside aid or some touch of the destiny. So he has to rely completely on his own efforts and own determination. Then line again is getting clear. So this is how uneven line of Saturn gets judged as. So next in the series is wavy. So wavy line of Saturn is something like this. So wavy line of Saturn is an archetype example of those people who keep on remaining fluctuating in their outlook towards life, their finance prospects, and everything remains too inconsistent. So this line in Hindu palmistry gets also related with the planet Rahu. So this is what happens with these people. At the time when you will find line to be curving like this or in a wavy formation like this. So this remains to be the time when this person will have very lack of peace. And even what has been written in our Samudik Shastra, the Hindu palmistry scriptures, that a person with a wavy line of Saturn would remain to be in problem. First of all, this person would face problem in having children, and even if this person has been blessed with children, so the children will always remain to be a matter of worry for this person. So this formation of the line just tells about and it has also been written as, just because Rahu represents the reptile, the head of the snake. So this person would remain to have vulnerability and fear of snakes. This person would always, the children of this person would always remain to a matter of worry and concern for this person. And lastly, when it comes to the material and financial prospects, so that would remain always to be subjected to change and inconsistency. So this is how a wavy line of Saturn can be decoded as. And lastly, the only saving grace for this wavy line of Saturn would remain to be the presence of a strong and single deep sun line on the this little ring finger on the mount of the Apollo. So this a strong, a firm sun line, a strong and good and unafflicted headline, and a long and firm thumb would remain to be the only saving grace for this person. Because you need to understand that the only thing which should come to your mind when it comes to judging the line of Saturn is, first is wealth, second is security, and third is stability. So any affliction to the line of Saturn, the person would face the heat in all these three aspects of the life. And last is when you will find the complete absence of line of Saturn on the palm. So like the way I have been saying this thing repeatedly, that it's better to have no line of Saturn as compared to an afflicted line of Saturn or a defective line of Saturn. So the absence of the line of Saturn would just indicate that this person would remain very non-conformist. This person would not rely on any external aid. This person would just try and put efforts to create his own destiny by his own efforts. So any chance of promotion, any chance of making good money, or any opportunity whichsoever would come to this person, he will not hesitate. Not like someone who is a very fatalist, who is just relying on the signs, on depending on other person. So this person would always remain in the pursuit of creating his own destiny by his own efforts. So this is how the absence of line of Saturn can be decoded as. So this is all what I wanted to say on this, on the quality of the line of Saturn. I hope I made myself very clear in this video. For further more updates and notification on palmistry, please subscribe my channel and like my Facebook page. Thanks.